Hey guys, what's going on? It is Rick, and I'm here with something a little bit different. I'm not going to hold this up the entire time, but my experience with this film franchise is very minimal. And the film franchise I'm talking about is Harry Potter. This is the 4K 8-film set. Now, I've seen Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and I've seen Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. I also watched the first hour of Sorcerer's Stone, the first Harry Potter movie. I've went to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Universal Studios Orlando, but that's it. I've never sat and watched these movies up until now. It'd be cool if I had like an intro video that cut in right there. But so yeah, guys, I watched the Harry Potter franchise over the last month with Bridget, who's a huge Harry Potter fan. I watched all the movies, sometimes back-to-back nights, sometimes like a week apart, but we watched them all. I took the test. I will reveal what house I'm in at the end of the video. So you guys stay tuned. And basically, I'm going to look over my notes. Some of this stuff I'm like a month and a half removed from, so I may be like reading basically what I wrote. So what I'll do is I'll go through the movies in order. I will try not to spoil stuff, although the Harry Potter movies have been out quite a long time. At the end, I will reveal what house I am in, along with the ranking of the movies for me. So in the first film, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So I think for someone that had no knowledge of Harry Potter, as I didn't read the books or know very much going in, I think the first movie does a great job of holding your hand and walking you into the world, the wizarding world of Harry Potter. It introduces you to what the world's about, what things are, and lets you enter the world. And you're almost learning, with Harry Potter, where he's new to the world as well. And the movie is very good. The movie feels a bit long to me in the middle. I know. Rick complaining about the length of film. That's a common trend. But it's a great introduction to an 8-film series. My note here is I keep being told after the second film, it's off to the movie races and these films grow up fast. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Like I said, I'm going to do the ranking at the end. The next film was Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. This movie started to hint at the darker side of the wizarding world. The first movie is very light, very kid-friendly. I believe the first 2 films were directed by Chris Columbus. The movie, I believe, is the longest in the series, which was 2 hours and 40 minutes, which worried me a little bit. That was the intimidating thing about the series, is a lot of the movies are 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 25 minutes. And as you guys might know, I'm not the biggest fan of a long movie, especially if it drags. But there were a few scenes in the movie that dragged a little, but the runtime kind of flew by for me. I really enjoyed the Quidditch scene in the second film much more than the first film. The story was enjoyable. This was a fun journey for me as somebody who wasn't used to the films or the world, and having so many people. My girlfriend loves it. My sisters are fans. My buddy Martinez Joe loves it. Jacob loves it. So after every movie, I was kind of like giving those guys my thoughts, and I gave that movie a 4 out of 5. The next film was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I said the movie has a whole new direction, figuratively and literally, as Chris Columbus is no longer behind the camera of the franchise. I said the film has a different feel and look from the first 2, which isn't a bad thing. I feel like the movies are growing alongside the characters. I will say I really enjoyed the beginning scenes of these movies where Harry interacts with his family. I really enjoyed those part of the movies, and obviously as they got further in the franchise, spoiler alert, those scenes don't happen, or they're left out of the movies as they happen in the books. I've never read the books personally, but this is what I'm told from Bridget. She basically said there's a really good scene, I think in the seventh movie or sixth movie, that was in the book and actually in the movie but cut, and it's in the deleted scenes. The scene with the family in the beginning of this one was probably my favorite of those scenes. Lets them really have a taste of their own medicine and how terrible they are. My big gripe with this film is the use of the time travel as a crutch. I was glad to see and hear that this is the only film that really has that time travel aspect to it. I hate when a movie uses time travel and it doesn't work out, so they go back in time and basically fix it. That to me is a crutch in film. But that's a minor gripe. I also gave this a 4 out of 5. The next movie was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I really enjoyed it. It had a very Hunger Games Maze Runner feel to it. Robert Pattinson is in this movie, and his character didn't really bother me. I believe it was Jacob I was talking to, and he said he really was annoyed by his character. I believe I could be misspeaking, but I believe that's what he said. It was cool to see Harry finally come face to face with the gentleman you dare not speak of, or the person you do not name, or Lord Voldemort, as I like to call him. So I'm curious. I was curious where the second half of the franchise would take Harry Potter as he came face to face with his character. And, I said, as a newbie to this franchise, I was bummed out not seeing Harry's terrible cousin, awful family, but I understand they need to put an incredibly long book into a 2.5-hour movie, and they can't necessarily have that in all the movies. It was crazy to see Robert Pattinson pre-Twilight in this film. I did not know that he was in the movie up until watching it. And the other thing I have an issue with in this film, and it's not so much in the other films, is what was up with Emma Watson in this movie? She was like an overactor in the movie to the extent where it really bothered me and annoyed me every time her character was in this on the screen. So I gave that a 4 out of 5 as well. The next film was Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. This is a movie where Harry really kind of takes the lead and takes control. He also starts, I believe this is the movie where he starts teaching other wizards about the dark arts, because there's an introduction of Dolores Umbridge, who is a terrible person in this movie. She basically keeps creating all these rules, and they have a wall in Hogwarts that keeps getting more and more filled with all these rules of stuff you cannot do. So he forms like a secret society with Ron and Hermione, Neville and others, and it's really good to see Harry take control. It was very, very fun. And then you also kind of realize at that point, where Harry realizes that he's at war with Voldemort and he has no choice. He's the one who's facing Voldemort at this point. I hope I'm saying his name right. You guys give me crap if you want to, if I'm not pronouncing stuff right, but I really, really enjoyed this one for sure. The next film, Harry Potter, I gave it a 4 out of 5. The next movie was Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and I will say I was incredibly tired the first time I watched this movie. And the next day I went and I revisited the middle part of the movie with a fresh set of eyes. And it really made me upset because I really enjoyed the grittiness of this film. I also enjoyed the humor in this movie. It was probably one of the funnier movies in the franchise. It had a very coming of age high school feel to it, which I personally love that kind of movie. Stuff like Edge of 17 and Breakfast Club. I was really bummed about certain decisions that characters make in this film, but at this point I was fired up to see the last two movies, to see how the franchise would conclude. I gave this movie a 4.5 out of 5. you guys can kind of put together the math so far of where I rank that. The next movie was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. So I waited to review this movie until watching the second part. And this movie was probably one of the slowest moving films for me in the franchise. But they're setting up a lot for the conclusion of the franchise, if you will. So I was okay with it, but there were parts that definitely drug along. But it was definitely probably also the darkest of the Harry Potter movies up until this point, and had a lot of just darkness to it. And then the last one, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Oh, I'm sorry. 4 out of 5 on Part 1. The movie it's so well paced and action packed and just a fun time. The culmination of an 8 movie franchise. So many satisfying moments in the movie, some sad moments as well. But I will say that Neville, in my opinion, is my favorite character in these movies, and that could be super controversial. But Neville, in my opinion, is really the star of the Harry Potter movies, and I wish he was in movies more. There are some movies where he shows up and he's in like a couple scenes. There's some movies where he's in the background of stuff. But the most refreshing thing to me about the Harry Potter films is how consistently good they are. If you take most film franchises that have 3 movies, there's always like one that is pretty much a stinker or not on the same level. These movies are all very well done, very entertaining. I kick myself for not watching them sooner. Makes me want to go back to Universal and visit the Wizarding World of Harry Potter after getting to watch these movies and know what the world is all about and what I'm seeing. I gave the last movie a 4.75 out of 5. It was awesome. Like I said, you guys can kind of do the math on where I rank certain ones. But my ranking is as follows from 8 to 1. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the first movie, is the bottom of my list. And the second movie, Chamber of Secrets, is number 7 for me. Number 6 for me is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. Just really was meandering at, different aspects of the film. Next for me would be the 4th movie, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Prisoner of Azkaban and Goblet of Fire are very interchangeable, the 3rd and 4th movie. I have Goblet of Fire actually slightly ahead, but the more I think about it, I think it would be Goblet of Fire at 5, Prisoner of Azkaban at 4, and number 3 for me would be The Order of the Phoenix. I really enjoyed that. Number 2, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. And number 1, by far, is Deathly Hallows Part 2. I give all the movies a 3.5 or higher, which is crazy, in my opinion, to have a franchise of films all be great quality, entertaining, just fun movies. It's definitely something I can see myself revisiting. If RJ, I think he's reading the first book now, so if RJ wants to watch the movies, I could definitely see myself sitting down and watching them again. Probably not marathoning them the way I have, and even though I took like a week off at sometimes, it was, it was fun. I'm glad I finally watched them all. And now the moment you guys are all waiting for, what house am I in? My girlfriend thought for sure I was going to be a Hufflepuff. I thought for sure I was going to be a Hufflepuff, but it turns out I'm a Ravenclaw, guys. I am a Ravenclaw. My girlfriend is a Ravenclaw, so Team Ravenclaw. And leave comments down below with what house are you guys in? Like, which is your favorite Harry Potter movie? How would you rank them? And it was a crazy, it was super cool to visit a franchise that I wasn't familiar with. I've been toying around with the idea of doing this for the Star Wars movies. Probably not for a while, but watching all the Star Wars movies, as I've only seen A New Hope, part of The Empire Strikes Back, and Solo, a Star Wars story, and I haven't seen Rogue One, I haven't seen the prequels, I haven't seen the new ones. So maybe I'll do something where I watch them all and then tell you my opinions. That's a possibility. Let me know what you guys think. As always, thank you for watching this video, guys. It is very appreciated. I'm glad you guys are watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this, something a little different. It was cool to watch the Harry Potter movies. If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button down below. Be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you guys know when I drop new videos. Also, be sure to check out the description box down below. You can find links to my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, email address, P.O. Box, eBay page, Letterboxd, where I rate and review all the movies I watch. As always, guys, until next time, who's down to movie? Liquid death. Murder your thirst. Murdered.